Good afternoon, I'm Nick Silhavy with Your Sports, and today I will preview a couple of high school basketball games for tonight, discuss what to look for now that the Birds are back on the bubble, and finally we'll see if the Bulls were able to stay ahead in the East over divisional rival, the Detroit Pistons. First, we start in Colfax, Illinois, which is home to just over 1,000 people, but their local high school basketball team has been putting the small town on the map. The Ridgeview boys basketball team ended the regular season with just one loss and finished as one of the top teams in Class 1A. The Mustangs rolled through their sectional, beating the only team that gave them their lone loss in the sectional semi. Now they will take on the Newark Norsemen in the super sectionals for the chance to play in the state semifinals. The last time the Mustangs were this close to the coveted state title was in 2015, where they would end up taking third after losing to Brimfield in the state semis. Tonight's game against Newark is scheduled to tip off at 7. While the Mustangs gear up for their game tonight, the Bloomington Raiders will be back in action tomorrow night as the only team remaining from the Twin Cities in the state tournament. The Raiders blew through the regionals, winning both games by a total of 45 points and are looking to make it out of the sectionals for the first time in over 40 years. Tomorrow night's game is set to tip off at 7. Now we move from high school basketball to college basketball. After the Redbirds lost in the Missouri Valley Tournament final, the ISU basketball team's hopes of a tournament berth fall into the hands of the committee to determine whether or not this season was considered good enough to compete with the top teams in the nation. In what could be one of the longest weeks for the Redbird faithful, here's a look at what the Final Four are looking at this week. Wake Forest gets their first test in the ACC tournament as they take on Boston College today, while USC faces one of the top basketball players in the nation in Markelle Fultz and the Washington Huskies tomorrow night. And then on Thursday, Syracuse takes on Miami and Illinois faces Michigan in two early matchups that could potentially make this stressful week a little bit easier. Until then, the Birds can only wait. While the men's team has been receiving a lot of attention, the women's team is still making noise as Taylor Stewart was named an MVC, Women's Basketball Scholar Athlete Honorable Mention this morning. The senior was the only Redbird to start all 29 games and played in every possible game in her four-year career with 119. She averaged just over 11 points with 3 rebounds and 2 assists in 33 minutes per game and led the MVC in free throw percentage at 84%, all while maintaining a 3.4 GPA. The 8th-seeded Redbirds will take on the 9th-seeded Sycamores this Thursday as they kick off the MVC tournament. Now we go to Detroit, where the Bulls were one game ahead of the Pistons going into Monday night. The Bulls were up early, but Marcus Morris would get the ball here and he would hit a 3 to bring the Pistons within 3. This would be in the first quarter, and then later on, Cameron Payne, he hits a 3. He was acquired in that trade to Oklahoma City where they got rid of Gibson and McDermott. And then Stanley Johnson drives the lane and kicks it to Baines, who goes in for the dunk. And then Reggie Jackson, he goes up for the alley-oop to John Lura as the Pistons end up going on to win this game 109-95.